There was a flock of flying sheep. Their wool could float, and as long as enough accumulated, the sheep would keep rising, breaking through the clouds. Whenever a lamb grew wool, the sheepdog would immediately notice. It would quickly run over and bark at the lamb a couple of times, and they would tacitly head towards the mountaintop. Here, an old man was waiting for them. The lambs would come straight to the old man. Then, the old man would take out a pair of special scissors from his pocket. Soon, the lamb's wool would be completely sheared off. The old man would gather all the wool together and hook it with his cane. Like performing magic, he would start waving it non-stop, then quickly wave it towards the sky. The wool would scatter into a cloud-like mass. When enough was gathered, it would start raining from the sky, which was the source of life for everything around. Rivers, land, and vegetation all relied on the nourishment of the rain. Everything proceeded as usual. Every day, the dog would shuttle through the forests and grasslands, looking for lambs with too much wool and bringing them to the old man. The old man would then wave his cane after shearing, sending patches of clouds into the sky, bringing vitality to all things on earth. But one evening, the old man became strange. He worked harder than usual, constantly petting the sheepdog. When the sun came out the next day, the sheepdog couldn't find any trace of the old man. It came to the front of the house and barked a couple of times, but found no response. So the sheepdog quietly pushed open the ajar wooden door and came to the bedside, only to find that the old man had lost his heartbeat. At that moment, the sheepdog seemed to have lost its soul. It lay beside the old man for several days and nights without eating or drinking until the bleating of the sheep outside sounded. Only then did the sheepdog leave the house. By this time, the surroundings seemed like a different world. The land was dry and lifeless, and there wasn't a single green leaf on the big trees. There was also no one to groom the sheep's wool anymore. All of this made the sheepdog realize that it couldn't remain depressed any longer. It led all the sheep to the rooftop, imitating the old man's style and using its paws to shear the wool. But each time it picked up the wool, it was too light and thin. Before rising into the sky, it would scatter and fall to the ground. Since it had been too long without grooming, some lambs even started floating into the air. With no other choice, the sheepdog could only put the fluffy sheep into the house one by one. It thought it could use the ceiling to temporarily protect them. Suddenly, a sheep squeezed through the window and rolled down the cliff. The sheepdog could only watch as the sheep rolled into a clump of bushes. The sheepdog barked anxiously non-stop. However, unexpectedly, the lamb that emerged from the bushes had its wool completely sheared off. The sheared wool successfully flew towards the sky. Seeing this, the sheepdog immediately understood. It used the bushes as a natural wool clipper and released all the sheep. They rolled down the hillside and, under the sheepdog's leadership, all squeezed into the bushes. Soon, huge clumps of wool were floating into the sky. The long drought-stricken land was once again blessed with the baptism of rain, but unlike before, there was one less figure on the mountaintop.